finance too, because Alan's from.
I got it. Thank you for letting me go home.
That's right. We're good. All right, good evening, everyone. If we could start with a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. Please stand for the pledge. And Ann, do you want to lead since Alan's going to lead?
Sure thing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Boer,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Swager,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Benton is absent, out of town, traveling today, as he let us know. Reading of the notice of the meeting.
This is a public meeting of the Board of Education for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There's a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. Upon request of the superintendent, the district shall make reasonable accommodation for a person with a disability to be able to participate in this activity. Recording shall be made of each meeting of the board as administrative aid and shall be preserved as public documents of the board.
Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I have quite a few. Actually, you have one too, right? And then I have quite a few. Just remind everyone that this time of the year with staffing and all, and the State Department is processing licensure requests, so sometimes things come a little slower, so we want to get some things tonight on the agenda that weren't there on Friday when we published. So under consent agenda, there are 3 items to modify. Under item C, district tutors for the 25-26 school year. I'm going to strike that entire section right now. Let us go through that a bit and look and see if we have everyone we need for that section. I'll bring that back in October, and then by policy I have the authority to hire people in advance, so if we do need some tutors, we won't shortchange us because I can get them hired before the October meeting. Under F, cafeteria substitutes, I want to add 2 names there, and I'm happy anytime we get substitutes, especially for cafeteria. So I have a Michelle with an E, and the last name is Detschule, and then also Brenda, last name Rios. So we'll have those 2 people to add to the agenda. And then the last item is under J. This falls under the category of having additional staff members for supplemental positions because we're waiting for all their paperwork to get back. We have Christina Naisman for middle school cheer and then Mike Triplett for the varsity head softball coach.
And that's under J item.
That's under J, yep.
Yep. Okay.
Is that a new J?
It is. J's a new letter.
That's what I thought. Okay. And what was the middle school?
It's like there's no.
Middle
I'm
school
sorry.
is Christina Naisman, Naseman, and that's middle school cheerleading just for the fall.
And I'm only laughing, just to clarify, not at the name, but that there was no J and I was searching for it, so I apologize, just want to clarify.
Do they have a copy that has the additional information in it? No? Okay. We'll get those to you in the future. Typically, we wouldn't have this many changes, so again, it's just that time of the year because we're still in the front end of the school year. And then you have one for resolution, right?
Yes, under treasurer's recommendation, would like to add resolution 25-09-195, the superintendent's contract annual performance.
That's in there, so it's just the
Yeah.
added amount.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was in
The
there.
resolution's in, the amount's not in.
Okay.
All right.
And then the last one I have is Resolution 25-09-198. That's Athletic Improvement Project Guaranteed Maximum Price Amendment 1. You had that in the Friday's agenda, but we did not have the amount to put into that. So when we get to that part of the resolution, I'll be able to read that. In advance, it's $227,230, which is inside of our budget. We had put a max in there of, I believe, about $275,000 was the original portion of that. So I'll talk more about that when we get there.
And that's in the attachment in the back of our packet. All right.
And that's all, those are all the changes.
If I can get a motion for the resolution 2509-193, the adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second. Any questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes. On to public remarks. I have Mr. Hill signed up for public remarks. Thank you.
Very, very brief. A couple of things. I noticed something up at the stadium, especially this year. It's always been there, though. That's the steps, going up and down. Very difficult, no railing. I don't think there's a place to even put a post as you're going up and down. And the steps are awkward as they go down. And I was thinking, painting, putting a white stripe, then the second step, a yellow stripe, or even on the corners. I saw somebody fall in a middle school game last week. I don't know whether it was because of the steps. I mean, she did get up and she walked out, but it's a little concerning. It's been that way always since it was built. But I do think it's something that perhaps needs to be addressed either in committee or by the board. The other thing is something similar. The upper parking lot. I know in the past the board wanted to pave it or blacktop it, and there was some issues or concerns about runoff and things of that nature. I don't know whether that could be solved or not. But I was thinking, I attended a lot of events there, band concerts, choir concerts, plays, etc. But we always get there early, so we get a parking spot. But the people noticing, as we're waiting in line, people going down that hill, if it's wet, if they have a cane, it's not an easy task. And whether a ramp could be put down or steps with railing, so the people who do park on the upper parking area by the Performing Arts Center could walk down and have a little more security. Paving would be good, because I think the stones, I don't know. I really don't know, because I haven't been up there to know whether the stones are big or whether it's nice and smooth or what. The other thing is dealing with the lighting up there. And I was thinking temporary lighting for nights when there's events there. They could be switched on and then turned off. Again, I know there's lighting up there, but we have to be aware of our neighbors or your neighbors that's up there. I don't think they want a bright light all night long, but they probably would have an understanding of a light for an event so people can see, especially going up and down the small incline. So I think that's it.
All right, I appreciate it. Grounds
No
and
complaints.
maintenance, so we're aware of the stadium steps
Yeah, sure, of course.
The stadium in itself, I know we have plans to look at and make some adjustments, and it's some needed improvements there. The steps have always been awkward. I'll
Yeah.
say it's like a step and a half kind of step.
Mm-hmm.
So we're aware of that.
Talked about it on Wednesday or Thursday when we met, so.
Yeah. So this is a timely concern that you bring up, because we are looking at, on the stadium side, the upper parking area, we'll take a look at that as well through grounds and maintenance. I don't know that I've got a great answer. You're right about permanent lighting is not something I don't think that would be a solution up there for the neighbors. However, temporary for major event maybe.
And maybe it's lit well enough
Yeah.
anyway.
Right.
I just haven't noticed.
Yep. We can go up and take a
On
look at
buildings
that.
and grounds, we actually talked about the upper lot, and it's on our schedule to look at as well, too, even looking at the quality of the gravel, and that's one of the things we tackled last week at our meeting, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
Good topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing we'd add, too, is we did add a lot of parking this year. The board had a lot of foresight, and we put some of those alternates in place. So we have additional parking behind the building addition and also on the side. We picked up, I think, 48 total spots,
Yeah.
but we picked up 16 on the back and the rest are on the side. So that makes it even better to be closer to the stadium. So that doesn't fix everything, but it's certainly, those are spots that I know, when I was here Friday, they were all filled.
Yeah.
It was a big crowd.
Yeah.
It was a big
Yeah.
crowd.
Yeah, Friday night's game, I don't know that we could ever have enough on-campus parking for.
True.
But, yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The school board office parking lot, it was full too. So
Oh, yeah.
we've gained a lot of parking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have. But even that, I looked specifically, when I was in the stadium and all those, I walked around the back, all those spots were taken, so good job for
Good.
adding those additional, endorsing the additional spots there for parking.
All right, moving on then. Update on the building projects?
Yeah, we just had one presentation, and I have a paper copy so the board can see this as well too.
Thank you.
Okay. Some of this, the board has seen, but I thought it would be good just to get it into one format, and then there's some work to do still. And then also, this will be something that, as it grows and matures, we can share with others as well, too. So if you want to go to the first slide. Exciting that, we have the high school edition, came in on time. There was a small, few items to still take care of on the punch list. But what's exciting about it, and when you look at that pink area that Craig McDonald put together for us, that's the 6 classrooms that have been added. One of the things that we did is we were able to add water and sewer to portions of that building. And what you see on the picture to the right is our Certified Nursing Assistant program. So that's our 3rd official collaboration in 2 years with CTEC. And we actually now have 6 mini hospital stations, if you will. So we have 6 sinks, 6 beds. So through the work that was completed, we were able to open up the existing building with the new building. So there's a 17-foot span between the rooms. So you have a academic side, if you will, related, and then you have your lab side of it. So we have our ribbon cutting on Friday, and this we delayed that a little bit to wait a couple weeks into the year because we wanted to make sure that CNA program is up and running. So just something to celebrate our accomplishments there. Any questions about the high school edition?
I just want to compliment the aesthetics from the outside. It
Oh, yeah.
blends very, very nicely. You really can't tell.
Yep.
It doesn't look like an extension of the high school, so
No.
I'm very pleased with the construction team there to make that blend in well.
Yeah, they did a nice job. You know what I think it's important is the foresight. When that building was built, like the vertical banding allows, like if we had to put matching bricks side to side, inevitably, even if you had the same dielectric aging, it's not going to show. So the fact that we had vertical banding of a slightly different, or the brown versus the red, or maroon, it really matches up nicely there, so it looks good. Yeah. They tell me it's a little different, but I can't really see the color difference because they're not next to each other. And they say that over time, the brick will dry out a little bit, or the masonry will, so. But I think it looks outstanding, so. Yep, we'll go to the next one. Another thing that we've done is, finished up over the summer, we were able to close on the city building. So now our next step is to begin work in there. If you turn the page, or next slide. This is as a reminder, and we're having this professionally done, but we have 2 rooms in the back of the city building there that were originally part of the street department. So we have a longer rectangular room there. You can see that'll be set up primarily for baseball and softball. And we've had our coaches in a few times, and as well as our Buildings and Grounds Committee members. And we were there actually on Wednesday, I think it was. And we're getting that area, we'll show you pictures in a few minutes, but we're getting the area prepped now so that eventually we can have indoor batting in there and a nice space year-round for our baseball and softball. The room to the right, that's more square in shape, that'll be for wrestling and cheerleading, and there'll be a practice area, but similar there that will be able to have dedicated space for wrestling and cheerleading. And then in the middle there is walkway, vestibule area, and there's a couple restrooms in there as well too, so we're getting those refurbished as well, so that we'll have nice facilities there on the back of the city building, and it'll be extension for athletics program.
That's excellent. I do want to,
Okay,
as
go
we get into that photo, but the long area, just keep in mind too, that golf would like to be able to hit in there. So if we buy a net for baseball, softball to hit into, looking to make sure we're buying a net or some type of small enough that the golf ball doesn't go through.
We talked about that, actually,
Okay.
we showed it, because it'll have to look at the size of it. And
Yeah.
then we were gonna follow up with a golf coach, because we were talking about, is a simulator or live hitting, so we were gonna look at all that.
My understanding is they have a simulator, but they need the net to hit into
Net to
the
hit, okay.
simulator, is my understanding, but.
And we'll
I
talk
think
about
that'd
that with
They
this,
do, I just
yeah.
went to a facility.
the size of the netting will obviously be important.
Yeah, that'd
so,
be the biggest
yeah,
thing there,
Maybe we'll
so
get
it-
something smaller that would, baseball, softball wouldn't go
Right,
through, but a
right,
golf ball could.
right.
Yeah, we'll look into that too, thank you. Okay, there's just some pictures from the inside of the building. I think most everyone's been in there, but what you're looking at first here is the rectangular room. You can see, and been great to work with the city. They cleaned out everything, and then Derek Holter, who's our maintenance lead, is a more formal title, but we'll call him maintenance lead for brevity. And then Derek Busenberg really been leading this with the maintenance team, and they've cleaned all this out. So we're getting to the point now where we can get those walls scraped and get them painted. We're looking at some of the floor work, and then our architects, when you think about the previous slide, they're going to give us better renderings, and they actually have the 3D rendering they'll have here soon. So as soon as that's available, we'll be able to share that. But that's an example of what the facility looks like now. And then this is the other side, which is the more square room, I'll say, for wrestling and cheerleading. So again, looks nice, clean, floor's in pretty good shape. There's some places on both floors we have to do a little leveling and all, but really it's in nice shape, and it looks better with everything out of it. I think you can vision it a little better too. So, any questions about those two areas?
No, I think those programs will be excited, because currently wrestling's over at the JYA Belt Field using a much smaller area, and
Yeah,
baseball and softball have no indoor hitting here on the campus. Golf certainly doesn't have anything indoor, so I
Right.
think just the fact that we're gonna add additional space for them will be great.
yeah. Derek, will you go back 2 slides?
Additional indoor practice area
Yeah.
for winter, or for spring sports, because it's winter outside, they really
Yeah,
can't go
absolutely.
outside.
When I went back to this slide from it too, though. You see in the kind of center to the right a little bit where you see the restrooms and all in there. If you were to look at the 2 restrooms, how they're stacked vertically, right below that, we're gonna have like a slop sink or a small sink there, like a 4-inch basin, so that we can have access to water,
Right.
cleaning the mats and all too. So, and that'll be also available for baseball in addition to the regular restrooms and all too. But those are things that certainly are a value add that we
Yeah,
haven't had.
I mean, the
before.
fact that, wrestling has to roll up their mats every day, stack them at the, the fact that they can leave their stuff and actually have a dedicated room will be huge for that program.
Yeah. We're also talking in here too, is there's some storage areas that we can put in place for students. When we were there on Wednesday, we were talking about the elongated room, if you will, and I'll call it the bottom, right where that mouse is. We were talking about maybe putting some cubbies there, so if you had wet shoes, wrestling even, you can put some things. We might put some in the
Yeah.
vestibule restroom area,
Yep.
but we're looking at all that right now too. Coaches gave a lot of good input. Like I said, that's been the second time they've been there. We have our buildings and grounds team, so a lot of exciting possibilities. Okay, sorry, go ahead, I was back there. Okay, another aspect of our building project, this is just something that's still maturing, but we have our multi-purpose building, and that'll be just under 12,000 square feet, and we're projecting that to be out here. That's about an 18-month build. We're getting close to looking at the design for that and finalized design, what we think, but we're gonna first, talk to the city and make sure that we're looking at our design review and review that with them. Probably trending more toward what you see there in the middle in terms of looks, but, that'll need a little bit of time to mature. We've asked our design team to just kind of sketch it out. That's why it looks like it does. Before we spend too much time on drawing, we want to get an idea about where things go. So that middle one there is starting to mature. The one on the far left was an earlier version, more of a steel building, so we'll have more direction coming up for the board here. And the right one was just, the right pictures, just some examples of other buildings and all too.
And so I believe the board knows, but Ruth Ann and I met on this project with the design team and that, but while we like the aesthetic look of the ones on the outside, we lose too much interior room with those beams. You lose about 4 feet on each side of interior space. So that's what's pushing to a masonry stick-built room, is
Yeah.
losing 8 feet of playing space is too much for us to.
It's a good point, because if you look at the first picture there, we were thinking about repitching that roof. And when we were talking with the design team, the taller it gets, the more the base, gets wide. So your internals, like on that left column there, you're talking about sticking out about 4 feet. So that was something,
6 to 8.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
with
To get the
padding,
bigger
yeah,
one,
yeah.
right? Because then we got to pad it, and then you lose more
Yeah.
room. It just
Yeah.
it becomes inhibitive to what we want to put in there.
Yeah. So that's starting to mature again. We'll have more to show you, but I think based on all of the subcommittee work the board's been with and been involved with, and then also the overall board, the entire board giving feedback, we're getting to the point where I think we'll be able to get to some drawings and then some estimatings. Right now, we just have big picture, but we'll certainly get into it. Whatever you see there, I think we can fit into our overall buildings budget, so we'll get that, continue to work there.
Could I interrupt a minute? We will spend time value engineering that one sketch up there in the middle. We like some ideas about it, but we really don't know costs yet. So we'll get some more costs at the next meeting in about 2 weeks. And more than that, we'll go through it with a fine tooth comb and value engineer it to be sure that if we have choice A or B and whatever fits in our budget, that's what we're gonna try to do. But we will have the building, so we're all excited about that.
Any other thoughts or questions from the board? No? If you want to go to the next slide. Moving to the West Campus, this is again starting to mature, but just to look at it from a larger view. What you see there on the far right is a walkway that would enter into the new concessions area, and that would be replacing what Music Boosters has right now with a permanent structure that would have restrooms in it, water and sewer, obviously adequate with 4 sinks, everything that we need there. That doesn't show well in this picture, but you can see it's that gray rectangular building there in the middle. So what's nice about this is, and I know the board has, certainly through subcommittee as well as the whole board, we'll have viewing from both sides. And also concessions from 2 sides. So you can have baseball, softball concessions on one side, and if we have a large crowd, if we're hosting a tournament, you could open up the other side, which is the football side, or you can restrict access to just one side or the other. We're going to next get with our booster groups and show them how this is maturing and get some input, especially because we're starting to see more of the internals now and how the rooms will lay out. So we're seeing that. The other thing is you can see, I'll call it like a goldenrod color. That's a decking that would, go through the back of the stadium there, and it goes all the way and it becomes an asphalt, which is why it changes color. That's approximation. What's exciting about that is that would be a walkway to softball now, so they have a nice, area to get back and forth. So restrooms, again, for the community, and then also concessions. And then through board committee, we've talked, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's some bump outs that are closer to the baseball area there too. So you can see it look like little knobs or nodules. Those are probably going to be at least 8 feet. And so that if somebody wanted to observe, we think about people maybe can't traverse the entire hill down there, they could get into the middle of that walkway there and be able to have a good line of sight for the baseball. So those are things that are starting to mature there too. But again, this is all focused on concessions for for high school baseball, softball, and then also, like I said, it also would help for football, and we would have a nice area for the Music Boosters concessions.
I think it's important to note also that on that one, the reason we have decking there is because we did already look at this from a value engineering standpoint. To get asphalt in would require a retaining wall. It gets into hundreds of thousands of dollars where we can build the decking portion over there without having to do all the retaining wall because of the hillside there. So that's why it goes from decking, which is more expensive than asphalt in and of itself, but not when you don't have to build the retaining wall and everything that goes with it. So that's why we have decking to the certain point, and then once you got onto where the slope can handle the asphalt, it goes to asphalt. So that's why we have the 2 different materials there, just so the public understands why we've switched.
Yeah, no, that was, again, these have been going through some process, and like you said, Mr. Swager, it was going to be very expensive to build retaining wall and the maintenance on that and all too, so this is a better option for now. Any other questions or thoughts about it? The next slide is important, especially for tonight. That's a picture of our baseball field right now, and what you see are all those lines there. That's actually part of a rendering or drawing because that adds the sub-drainage to the baseball field, and that comes up tonight, and that's the $227,000, almost $228,000 that we're asking the board to approve tonight. If that's approved, then we'll be able to work with our construction team, and this week we expect them to organize bids and get this moving. We've pulled this piece of it out because there's a time sensitivity here. We're trying to see if we can get that drain tile, which is our expected process, in this fall, be able to get it back into shape and then start to get some growth on top of that, and then you get some in the spring as well too. Questions about baseball? Or again, that'll come up later tonight. And then the next slide, North Campus, some work that we've been doing here, and you can see in the green area there, that's looking to be that looks to be a turf field, and that'll be quite a large turf field with a width of about 220 feet, so that would give us really soccer regulation that we've been looking for. If you look at the black area there, just to the right of the green turf there, that's concessions, again, restrooms in there, a little bit of storage, and a press box in there too. So some of that work is still being worked on. This is earlier on in the phase process compared to some of the other aspects of the project, but definitely coming together. And then you can see where we've tried to address some of the parking that's in there. This is still being worked on. If you look at the bottom though, you can see we have a road coming off of West Maple. And we, after talking in subcommittee, we have the ability, some parking spots, but a bus to be able to turn around in there, almost like a part of a cul-de-sac type of look, if you will. So again, this will need some more work and input from subcommittees and the entire board, but we wanted to show you about how that's starting to mature. So. Questions about that? One of the things that we're trying to do right now because of the lead time, I'm sorry, can you go back 1 second? On the turf, the largest, when you're putting these projects together, we're not only looking at the construction but materials. The turf has a long lead time, so we're trying to get some appointment organized with about 2 to 3 turf vendors and trying to get them in here to start showing us product, because if we are going to move forward with this part of it, we're going to have to get that ordered relatively soon, even before the construction starts. Okay. Any questions, anything I can answer? I thought it'd be good to kind of level set and where we are with all of our projects. And like I said, the important one tonight will be the baseball sub-drain.
Trying to maximize the dollars we have set aside, but also be staying within the budget. So some of these alternates in there will, may or may not come
Yep.
to fruition based on final pricing.
Yep. When we get to the baseball, I can talk a little bit more about that, but we were able to pick up a couple alternates in the nearly $228,000, and I'll show you what those are just quickly when we get to that resolution. So if there's no other questions, those are all that's the entire presentation I have for tonight.
Colin, any other questions from anyone? Move on to board committees.
We had quite a few, the board's busy this week, so I think, or the last couple of weeks actually. We'll start with buildings, grounds, and safety, and we had a meeting on September 3rd.
Ann Thomas and I, this is Ann, sit on the grounds and maintenance, and we never cease to be amazed at the number of issues that we try to fit into the budget. Dave Jenny is retired now, and we want to send a big shout out to our maintenance department, who has really stepped up and made our grounds awesome. They've met the criteria for every activity. They've done it with pride, and we're proud of them. So hats off to our Derek Holter for leading that group. He stepped up into that role a bit. Safety issues, we are looking at all the safety equipment on the grounds and making sure that that is safe and that they're brought up to code. The stadium bleacher work, I was laughing because you brought that up, but we have been talking about that, and we're trying to decide what we should do, how much we should do, what we can do, and to make it as safe as possible, because you're right, we've got some aging spots on there. We need to do something with it. The landscaping design in general, we have always weeds to fill or to take out, and always lawns to mow, et cetera, and you see them out here. Well, in grounds and maintenance, we talk about that a lot, because Ann and I are very careful about walking the grounds, and if there's a piece of paper, we pick it up. And when we want to ask who did it, or why is it not picked up, so we're not into that role, but we surely try to help when we can. The North Campus update is exciting, in as much as it's going to be a total new area up there from the schools that were on that site. So we're thrilled to see what we can do at that site. And again, we're value engineering everything we can and making sure we get the biggest bang for our buck. And the people in Johnstown should be real pleased in a few months when they see that transformed into a wonderful ground for soccer, whatever else. I'm not sure what all we
No,
played up
it's a
there.
good point. We talked about primarily soccer, but we're thinking about
Lacrosse,
baseball. Softball could be
baseball.
hitting up there, especially, you know, in the
It's
late winter.
unlimited,
Yeah,
so I don't know
lacrosse is a
which-
big one, like you said. So.
Right. And regarding the city building, it's, as you've seen from the slides he presented, we're underway with the renovation of the building here in the back. That's gonna be exciting too, because people will have a batting cage. We'll have an opportunity for golf, which I had not heard that, but I'm happy about that. I just visited a golf facility and looked at how it takes the simulator, and it's wonderful. We haven't gotten that far. That's about $50,000. We haven't gotten that far, but we know how to do the net anyway. But it's going to be great, and so you're going to see a lot of activity on this end of town very soon. We talked about the overflow parking lot too. It's item here under number 5, so it was no surprise that someone else is asking us about it. It has some very serious concerns, problems, because it's a drainage problem up there. The permeable surface makes it much better for us to control that parking lot right now, but there are some things we are looking at and what can we do with it. So it's not pushed aside, it's definitely on our agendas. I believe that, we did talk about the chains up here. I don't know if you've noticed the chains that are put up to come out of the middle school. They're looking at an alternative to those chains, and I think we're gonna use a barricade, is that correct?
We were talking about maybe some arms and yeah, some
arms
better
or
way to
something, yes.
regulate that, because I think now sometimes people don't see it and they drive through it, so we were thinking some better ways to manage that.
I haven't scraped my car yet, but I've been very close, so I'm glad we're doing something with that, but that's all I can remember that we did. And have you got anything that I didn't cover?
We talked about the speed bumps. Were you going to, Tim, were you getting us something on that for speed bumps that we could pick up and,
The portable ones?
yeah?
We looked at that before.
I thought you were getting
In
us
the room.
something.
Let's see, there we are. Remember we looked at that
Yeah.
a few years ago? We had a problem because they get pushed going down the hill. So the portable ones, as you come down at the crosswalk,
Right.
they wouldn't stay in place when the buses and stuff
That's-
would break on them. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
they'd stop.
Right.
Because we're still having that problem up there at, by the weight room, the
Yeah,
side of the
that's
building.
that was the problem.
That's
We
still the
tried some
problem.
portable ones there, but they kept, and then if you don't, then you can't plow because they peel them off. So it continued to be a challenge. So at that point, we added the second sign. We had them come in and put the second sign over there for the crosswalk sign, and we restriped that. But we can look at it again and see if there's anything else. The portable one, we tried them. They just kept
Just
pushing down the road as
Yeah.
traffic went down
A
through
little
there.
more forward. Okay,
Yep.
thank you. I couldn't remember. I know we talked about it, but I couldn't
Yeah.
remember it all.
I thought it was a line item, but we haven't found a solution.
Yeah. I do want to bring up one thing that got brought up to us and on that North Campus. Please, if you have a dog, please do not take them onto the North Campus school property and walk them. And if they do happen to go out there, and they do happen to use the restroom on our facility, would they, owners of those dogs, kindly clean up after those dogs? Because we have student athletes playing on those fields every day. And it is a problem. If you go up there, you'll see quite a bit of it. So I do ask the public that if you're walking one, we prefer you, and actually, you're not supposed to be on there with dogs, but if you happen to be on there with a dog, please at least clean up after them. So I do appreciate that, because that's an ongoing issue.
Good
It
addition.
is, and we've received several incidents.
Our coaches have called us complaining about it when they have to practice up there, so yeah, if we could show some courtesy to our student athletes here and clean up after your dogs, that'd be great.
We did discuss it in buildings and grounds as well.
Okay.
We did.
Some from a policy standpoint, we're gonna look at for the board too, and, you know, how we should manage animals on the property, so watch for that, and probably take some months to get all that review, but we'll come back to you with some thoughts.
Yeah, I get it a little bit, but clean up just like anywhere else. If it's not in your yard, clean up after it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to curriculum.
Yeah, but curriculum on, August 28th.
I'm going from memory. I didn't bring my notes. No, that's all right. You'll catch me if I miss something. We talked very briefly about a couple of things. The first is that we started the new curriculum adoption in 6 through 12 for ELA this year, which is HMH. Nothing major, but really anecdotally, things are going well. Teachers are enjoying it. The materials have been easy to use and incorporate into the classroom, and so no major concerns at the time, which was really great. They seem to really be enjoying it, and I think the learning curve, as far as like new technology and stuff, no concerns, which is great. We will be looking to do social studies for a social studies adoption for the 26-27 school year. So that is what the curriculum team is going to be jumping into. We also talked about a couple different family engagement opportunities in the K through 5. So Grandparents' Day is at the elementary school this Friday. I don't have the intermediate date.
We sent out something Friday to our parents. We're going to move ours to the spring and adjust it a little bit.
Right, we're going to have a spring Grandparents' Day at the intermediate school, but we love to see those continued. We know it means a lot to the families and the children to be able to bring their family members into the building. MAP and Acadians benchmarking, we didn't talk a ton in detail, just that it's underway, and one thing that is really cool is we have the opportunity to really use these tools to drill down into how students are testing, and so you can look at an individual student and really look into ELA, but you can look at various components of each, which is really cool. That gives teachers the opportunity to really highlight specific areas in which students are either excelling or need additional support. So I think that that's a really cool thing that we've got going on. We spent a bit of time looking at the report card preliminary data. Not much for me to say yet, because again, not all of that is in and those numbers aren't final, but it was really good opportunity for Ann and I to just get an understanding of all of the different components that are a part of the report card, things that are tracked, how the data is used, and how information is used from previous years. And then this year there's a new component to the report card as well. So we looked at that, what that's going to look like, and strategies for implementing that. Ann, anything I missed?
Got it all?
Okay, great.
And I will give you the finance report. Since Alan is not here this evening, we both sit on that committee. Usually I let him do the talking because we both watch the dollar very carefully. This last few months, Alicia, our treasurer, has been working on breaking down every sport, the cost of that sport, and what can we do to value that sport and make sure that everybody is getting as much money as we can possibly afford. So she's done a spending analysis of the sports and by gender as well, which is great. We looked at the cost of the season passes to the ball game, to the regular price of the ticket to the ball game, a student price, versus an adult price. How many people are utilizing the special privilege that they get to attend a game without having to pay for it? And should we raise the prices? Should we not? We are currently the lowest price in Licking County, but we kind of like being the lowest price, and we kind of like being who we are, and that's Johnstown. So we do review that to be sure where we fall in line. We've reviewed the budget in every possible detail. I know more about the school budget than I know about my budget, for fact. So I don't balance my checkbook. I gave it up. I balance the church or the school's checkbook. But at any rate, we've gone down to every finite detail to be sure that the projections in our 5-year forecast and our 10-year forecast are going to be as close to being accurate as possible when that time comes. So if we follow a guideline, we think we're going to be able to nail down on many things that we haven't done in the past. And I have sat here many years and watched the budget, and I think it's in the most accurate shape that I've ever seen it. And I want to thank our treasurer for doing the job that she does, because she doesn't let a penny roll without talking to it. So that's good for all of us. We have a new computer program that we're working on, and it takes every budget and every possible expenditure to the finite end. So I think we're going to know a lot about us, ourselves, and I think that the community's going to benefit because we won't make as many projections that we really can't honor, and we're really excited about it. The legislature is definitely playing an active role in our lives right now. They are looking at all budgets, including school budgets, municipality budgets, etc. I am sympathetic to what they're trying to do, but I'm also very, very concerned that from a school perspective, we have to really think about where they're going to be cutting our budget. And I've said that for years. Well, they cut the budget and they mandate programs. That doesn't seem to gel real well because we have to afford those programs that they mandate. But moreover, that if we don't really pay attention right now to what will pass or not pass legislatively, we're going to have a burden that we have never seen before. So we're very aware of that, and we're looking at it through this new computer program. So we're excited about the fact that we're doing our homework. And if you have suggestions out there, I know that everybody's paying property taxes, and we're concerned about those. How does that balance, and how do we all afford schools and afford your lifestyle that you're accustomed to, but how do we be fair to every area? I can't see some of the legislation that's being talked about right now. I get very irritated in the evenings thinking they really can't do that. But I also see that they are, and they keep introducing legislation that's even more punitive. And I should say they're considering and evaluating legislation that's even more punitive. So I think we have to stay on our game, be sure and communicate to your school board members about how you feel about what's being proposed, because we are here to answer, we're here to be your voice. We're not our voice, we're your voice. So be sure and let us know what you think. The capital projects that we're doing are very expensive, and we're very proud to say that we think we can do this with a lot less pain and anguish than some school districts. So we're working hard to do that and be sure that we don't have to run another levy or something like that. So I don't think we can expect that we're going to run a levy or even put one on the ballot. But we do have to, we're excited about the items that we're building. And again, tell your school board members how well you are appreciating what they're doing, because it's a lot of hours. So that's it for finances.
Thank you.
On insurance, is it okay if
Please
Felicia and I do this? Okay, because I know that, board members have different commitments. Do you want to go through it a little bit, and then I'll support you because
Sure.
you've been leading it.
Sure. So when we meet, the main focus is looking at our utilization of our plan, and we continue to see that our plan loss ratios are exceeding 100%. We're at 121% combined for calendar 25. Our high deductible health plan has performed significantly better with a 51% loss ratio. So it is outperforming our PPO, which has 157%, so that loss ratio. So that first number I gave you of 121 was blended with the two plans, but that's a pretty significant difference at 51% for high deductible health plan and 157. So we have started also an education initiative with our staff, and it is being led by the insurance committee and Dr. Wagner and I in going out and helping people understand our insurance benefits, how the plans work, the differences in the plans. And we spent a lot of time at the meeting preparing the committee. They will lead the actual kickoff of this education with the PD day and presenting for about an hour and taking questions. So we prepared a brief little PowerPoint and talking points and flyers so all staff can get the same message on September 19th. We also have gotten some preliminary renewals in for medical. It looks like the renewal may come in between 12 and 15% is what we're expecting. That is given the unwritten rate cap rule that we've been enjoying by Ohio school benefits consortium. Dental is also trending a little bit higher. It's a 95% loss ratio, but that is down from prior years. And the preliminary renewal there is about a 4.7 increase. So that's really, that's been a lot of our focus, is we want to educate, we continue to monitor the plan utilization so that we're using benefits wisely, and we're making the right choices when it comes time to choose a health plan for each individual.
The only things I would add is we're getting ready for renewal, right? So that's coming up. And then the other thing is, and this has been with the board committee as well as the staff, is we have many more meetings scheduled this year than we ever have in the past, so we can see what's happening with our healthcare. And we've made some small changes to the plan as well. Like this year, any new staff hired on as of July 1st only have two options: either the maximum value plan, or they have the high deductible, or the HSA. They don't have the PPO option right now because you can hear that it's the way it's trending. So, but I think that's really everything, right? I mean, we have another meeting scheduled here, and the renewals are coming up, right? Non-renewal, I guess renewal, because we'll start in January because we're running a calendar year.
So they, from the industry standpoint, where do they want their loss ratio to be, in the high 80s? What's their kind of expectation? I mean, they got to make money. I get, they can't pay out more than they get paid in.
I would say typically in the low 90s.
Okay.
They're in that range. Anytime
So
you
88 to 92, kind
yeah,
of that window.
somewhere I would say there. If you get beyond that, then that's
That's right. I was
Yeah.
looking at like what triggers a rate increase. Once you get above the low 90s, that
Yeah.
kind of triggers a probable rate
yeah,
increase.
because like
High now.
And we're at 157.
Yes, we've been high
We've been,
for a
we've
long
been high for,
Oh,
yeah.
well, and
I
like
followed that.
Felicia said this the other day, and when we were looking at this, I thought it was a really good way to think about it. Even at a 15% increase, you're paying $1 or $100, however you want to look at it, and then you're getting, in the dollar, you're getting $1.15, $115. I mean, it just escalates. So that's the value of the consortium, and I'm glad we have our consortium as well, too. I think one of the things that helps the consortium when they're looking at loss ratios now is we can bifurcate the HSA from the PPO, and we have the minimum value, but that's a small portion. We only have a few people in there, but it's really the two lead plans. So you start to look at how those plans are trending, and I think they see that we're trying to make some changes there. Then we have some coordination of benefits that we implemented in 2023, sometimes called spousal carve-out. So we're watching that. We've conducted a dependent audit, make sure everything is good there. And then, like I said, even the change as of July 1st of this year, where we have the now the only option, we don't have a PPO option anymore. So those things, it's not going to change things overnight, but I think we're headed in the right direction. So we're pleased that that it looks like we're going to come into a range. We're going to be, have a renewal. We'll see how it trends, but it's probably going to be that 12 to 15% range.
So when we talk about the average, is that a weighted by participant or cost? When you talk about the 51% increase or 50% loss ratio on the high deductible versus the 157, whatever it was, and then you gave us a number of whatever it was. Is that weighted on number of participants, or overall loss ratio?
It's the actual, yes, number of participants and then the utilization, the claim
Right. So they
cost.
average the two, so it's weighted for the overall loss. Okay.
Yeah. And it's still an immature year, right? Because I'm doing off the top of my head, I don't have the numbers with me, but when you look at loss ratios on the HSA, because we've had 2 full calendar years. No, we've had 1 full calendar year because we started in 2020. Yeah, we've had 2, so we had 23. We've averaged under 100%, I think, in 2 of the years. What is that, 93? Looking sideways. 93 from
Actually,
the loss ratio right there.
yeah, we've been 107, 115, 159.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's calendar year. So calendar year there, the loss ratio was 93% for all of the calendar year. And then also
Oh,
same thing.
just in the high deductible?
Just on the high
The high
deductible.
deductible, yeah. And then the loss ratio, interestingly, it was the same thing, and this is kind of a fluke in 2024. But if you look at the PPO, we lost,
For the year?
no, go back up to where. We lost 112% in fiscal year 23 3, and then if you look at last year, which would have been calendar year '24, 128%. So we'll see how it trends, but the important thing is we're conversing with these numbers and what it means behind the numbers, too.
Yep, okay. I appreciate it, thank you.
Well, and on a related note to that, we kicked off the Financial Fridays
Oh, yeah.
on Friday
Yeah.
at JIS was our first one, and it went really great. The teachers were warm and welcoming, and they were curious. We had good discussions, so we're looking forward. We have another one on Wednesday at the high school,
school, yeah.
I believe.
And that was something that came out of the committee meetings, that the teachers, the staff.
Yes, we are
interested in.
moving. That was
I just want to
through-
clarify, Financial Friday was on a Wednesday, it threw me
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
but,
There's actually, it's actually Financial Fridays with Felicia, but we call
Yeah,
it,
all right.
we call it, and then I'm the backup, where I go and
oh,
help
because
it.
we have professional development
Yeah,
next, so they
yeah,
moved
yeah.
it to Wednesday, is that,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
We thought, we already branded it Financial Friday, so we didn't
It
want
was
to rebrand it.
branded.
And then
so-
you're like, oh no.
Trademark,
Yeah,
it
this
all
is-
over stuff.
Yeah. But it was, Felicia did a nice job because, we're sitting there looking at all this data and we get to see it on a regular basis, but you got to make it consumable for
Yeah,
people. And
definitely.
that's really the part of it, and the staff's been really good about it. Our insurance committee's been, with the 2 board members, been very viable, and we appreciate that. So it's kind of an esprit de corps, like, let's roll our sleeves up and see what we can
Yeah.
do here. So,
We've also had our high school financial teachers
Yeah.
involved in there too.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
Excellent. Moving on to policy then?
It was a riveting time for policy committee,
Always is.
bright and early.
We're glad
We looked at 7 policies, 4 of them which were technology-based. The good thing is Alan and I are also the technology committee. So we were able to have the technology committee look at the policies at the same time. And then there were 3 others, student records, AED, and other items, and all are on the agenda today.
Sounds great, thank you. Strategic Planning, Economic Development, Construction, Ruth Ann and I met today, you saw the presentation tonight, so that's what we covered.
No
LPDC, well, that is the report,
That
it's
is
the
the report.
presentation you saw earlier.
and then when we get to the resolution, I'll have on the sub-drainage, there's a little bit there we can go through too that involves that committee. LPDC doesn't have its next meeting until September 16th, so I don't have an official report tonight.
All right, moving on into consent agenda.
Resolution 25-09-194 is approval of consent agenda, and I remind the board, just real quick, that there were changes to items C, F, and J, as we had talked about at the beginning of the meeting.
Can I get a motion
Motion?
and a second?
Second.
Let me run through these
Please
real
do.
quick. Okay. Salary degree changes, we have a process in place where teachers can show they've advanced their education, and then once they meet certain thresholds, they can be advanced on their salary schedule, so that's Michael Malloy there. And we may have another teacher or 2 before the end of the deadline. Next, we have Lisa Smith, who will be a permanent sub for us, so we're happy that she'll be housed out of JES, but she'll be working throughout the district, and that's what we did last year, so that's helpful. Classified employment, you see that we have a person there. Sorry, I'm turning pages here. Person there. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, when I said C, I should add district tutors in there as well, too. Sorry, in addition to Lisa Smith.
We removed those, right, C.
Sorry, yeah, those are all removed from there, so just to be clear, and I'll bring those back in October. Cafeteria substitutes, we have names there, and then we have the 2 additional people I told you about, so excited that we're getting some more food service cafeteria support there. Next, we have in there volunteers. At the last board meeting, there was a question about what volunteers were doing, and the value they provide. I think we did an update on that last year, and so we were thinking more like mid-year, let us get in back in that. When did we do that last time? Was it at the end of the year? Something we did it about mid to end of the year, I'm trying to remember, but
think it was
we'll bring that back like mid-year once we get things up and running and we can see
A
how.
question on that.
Yeah.
When we say they're general volunteers, who takes care of assigning them? Do they know where they're going on a weekly or daily or hourly basis? How do we handle that?
Yeah, so then the buildings that are responsible will be assigning them, and then we have some cases we have to coordinate, so you can see like Diane Schaefer there is coordinated around 3 different buildings there. So the principals coordinate that. It's easier when they're just assigned to one building.
And I know a lot of these, not a lot of these, some of these for the intermediate are like parents who want to go on the 5th grade camp trip, so we would mark them as general.
8th grade, we've had
Yeah,
some other
and
things.
so they might do stuff in the building, but that also could be the one time they volunteer, so.
Yeah. Sometimes they get in and they enjoy it, so we find some extra opportunities as well, too, so,
That's wonderful.
yeah. Board meeting minutes are there as stated, so I think those are pretty clear. Monthly finance report. And that's all been shared with the board. And then the last one is
The item J, yeah.
J, right?
Yep.
Why do I have an I on here?
Because H-I-J. I is the financial report. J is the.
I is the
monthly
letter
added.
before J.
Okay, I just want to show you that.
H-I-J.
Mine is a different one. Listen, I get the alphabet.
I thought you were going to say because I comes
But
before J.
Not for the viewing audience.
We're
Do you
back to
notice
the
that
alphabet
my
again.
I
It
says
wasn't just
something
Oh, it
different?
does. It
Okay,
does.
just
His
that
is different than
Mine
mine.
is a little
Alright.
different because we were I have like an
yours is.
executive summary of this. So
And
just-
I'll give
okay.
that one to you.
Okay, thank you. In front of the
like,
entire
"There's
public
an
here
H."
about, I don't know. how to-
H-I-J.
Yeah.
He's new.
I didn't have to take my shoes off for that one, and I could do it. I could count that one. But I just want to show you so that I have an executive copy here. Sorry. So, anyways,
You don't get anything by me, sir.
yeah, again, I just want to show you. I'm gonna make this available for anyone who wants to see it. So. Anyways, we have the 2 names, Christina and Mike, that we're recommending. Christina for middle school head cheer coach, and then Mike Triplett for varsity softball head coach. And I think that's all the consent. Did I miss anything? Okay, just checking. Got all the letters of the alphabet. We're
That's
good.
right. We're good to
Okay.
go.
I'm sending this to people tomorrow. I want you to know I'm sending them scanners. Look at board members. Just so you can see my
Doesn't want
copy.
it to be a blooper at the end of the year.
Right. All right. Any other questions, comments on the consent agenda? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Consent agenda is passed. Congratulations, Mike. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Softball coach.
Yes. I read that.
All right. Moving on, treasurer.
Yes. Treasurer's Recommendation Resolution 2509-195 to approve the superintendent's contract annual performance bonus.
Can I get a motion
I'll motion.
and a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments? This is the contractual one. We give Dr. Wagner different goals each year. We will be setting his new goals for this current year soon.
Yep.
We've talked as a board. We haven't finalized them, but it's probably going to be like 2 goals. One will have to do with continuing our partnership with the CTEC and the trade skills. Continuing that and continuing to increase because we're very pleased with how that's working, bringing those students, keeping them in the district. Anything else that we can continue to expand on that. And the second one will be focusing on our high school and the curriculum at the high school and improving our grade scores and things at the high school level. So those are the 2 goals that we'll be setting for you for next year. We appreciate reaching your goals that we set this past year. And if any other board members have any questions or comments, I think we're good. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 25-09-196 is increased substitute rate.
And can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
On this one, this is, we discussed this as a board, you guys know, at the work session.
Yes.
And this is well-deserved, and it brings us in line with the rest of the Licking County community and puts us in a fair position.
Yep.
And we're making it retroactive to the beginning of school, so that way the substitute pay is back to the first day of the school year. So appreciate that. You have anything else? Anyone else? Any questions, comments on that? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Resolution 25-09-197 is approval of the 2025-2026 bus routes.
If I can get a motion.
I'll motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments?
Just want to compliment community bus service for their work. Derek Busenberg is their primary point person and has done a nice job with this. You know, this has become even more timely. The other thing on this, whenever we look at any kind of bus routes, we always have to look at sexual predator lists or those are identified, and we make sure bus stops are arranged. I won't get into details on that, but it's an important.
There's a lot more that goes into this than realize, and I appreciate the work on this because we've, in recent past, been getting this in November, December, you know, so getting it this early and actually approving bus routes this early is greatly appreciated because it solidifies where we're at. I'm more than happy with how the busing has gone. It's gotten better each year. Derek, I know you put in a lot of time and effort for that, so I do appreciate that because there is a lot more that goes into busing, and we are one of the, knock on wood, few districts not experiencing busing issues for drivers, and you know we're actually able to get our routes out. We're tight, as is everyone, in getting back, and some of our extracurriculars sometimes might be a few minutes late getting off their bus, but we're doing an excellent job of getting there and getting our students, because the other schools that I've talked to and are in the newspaper about it are not having the successes we are with busing. Obviously, we're doing something right in that regard, so I appreciate the work there.
I was just going to add, Mr. Busenberg, I know that with your continued partnership with them, they've really done a great job to increase their communication with parents. If you are not on Stop Finder and your child is on a bus, please get Stop Finder. It's incredible. You can track the bus, but the message is on there, hey, we're 5 minutes late, small things like that. You know, there was a road closure, whatever. It's very helpful. It's going to start getting cold out soon, and then the mornings are going to be dark. And so just, you know, having that, I think, has been really, really awesome. So thank you for that.
Did we check with our folks at the Jersey Township that live in that area with the construction? I know Jersey Township reached out to us, or I should say to you, Dr. Wagner, and Mr. Busenberg, about the construction that's going on there. They wanted to be good partners.
Yeah, I was going to say that when, you know, on the heels of what Mr. Swager said, but, you know, in addition to everything, all the accolades, I think we have an added, well, I know we have an added burden because of the road closures and all too. So that's a good extension of our partnerships. We're receiving that information from Jersey Township. We sometimes get it from New Albany as well too. I should say something, we get it when it's relevant. So that really helps us a lot with that. So yeah, good thing to mention. And I think it makes our job that much harder in the school district. You know, people don't realize we have 52 square miles, you know, that covers this district. So.
And busing is one of our larger costs. I mean, it's a significant cost to bus. So that's a number that never goes away and continues to go up. So it's important we be as efficient as we can in those regards, because you can quickly change the fortunes of a school district if busing's not handled correctly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, comments? We can call the roll, please.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 25-09-198 is Athletic Improvement Project Guaranteed Maximum Price, otherwise GMP, Amendment Number 1.
If you get a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
This is the one I added some detail in, so give me a minute here. I'll just read through this because it's a little more legal. GMP, or Guaranteed Maximum Price, Amendment 1 to the agreement with Robertson Construction LLC for the Athletics Improvement Project, specifically the sub-drainage for baseball, is approved in an amount not to exceed $227,230. The board hereby authorizes the board president, superintendent, and treasurer, working in conjunction with the other administrators and legal counsel, to negotiate the terms of the GMP Amendment Number 1 and to execute GMP Amendment Number 1 and any related documents at a satisfactory conclusion of negotiations on behalf of the board. I also have a quick handout so you can see how the price breaks down. Inside that, you notice it said not to exceed for the $227,000. That's important because there's a couple alternates that were picked up in this, and so you know that your commitment, it won't be any more than $227,000 and change here. But the two alternates that were picked up is in the outfield is once they install the drain tile, then we replace that with sod. We thought because of growing, you know, that we can get a little bit of, depending on how the fall goes, we can get a little bit of growth there, and certainly in the spring side will help us as opposed to just trying to grow it from seed. And then the other one is adding cleanouts. I think Mrs. Thomas, that was your idea. So if you look at the picture that's on there at the end cap, if every one of those, there's like a little mark or a demarcation there, we'll have cleanouts there available. The other ones that we had talked about, and we do not have in this, and it was just over $12,000, and that was to run the sub-drainage through the infield. There's not the same timeline where we can get, if we did that this fall, it would be corrupted for the spring. So, as I said earlier, when we were talking about this, there's phases to these projects. We believe we're going to bring back the infield sub-drainage at another time, probably right after the season ends, if the board agrees with that, and then we can get that in, and it'll be ready. It'll get about a year of growth and to be able to make sure that gets accommodated. And then the other alternate there for the 8,644, we didn't really need that because they had a different application.
Yeah, they put it into the base bid. I wanted
Yeah.
to mention that they actually came up with a different type of piping that's better, smooth on the outside, perforated on the smooth on the inside, perforated on the outside. It actually meets what we want and is better than what the alternate was. So we went with that, and it's in that base. So, we came in $48,000 under budget
Yeah.
on this and got 2 alternates that we wanted. The
Yeah.
only thing we're not doing is the infield sub-drainage, and we're not doing that because it's a grass infield. We can live with a grass outfield that has a few bumps in it come spring. We can't have an infield that has bumps, so we're gonna have to wait until right after baseball's done to do the infield stuff next year to make that safe.
The cost, and what we'll do is we'll have to rebid that, bring back the board. The estimate from our construction team, there might be a little bit more money because there's the whole economies of when you're doing this work. But right now, it's not really safe, and
Yeah.
that can create, especially balls in an infield, can take some directions when you have problems with the infield there. So we'll look to bring that back to the board as one of the other phases. It might be a few dollars more, 1,000 or 2,000.
Right.
We'll see. I don't know where it'll be now.
We're
but-
still gonna be significantly under.
Oh, yeah, so I was gonna say, even with the 48,000.
We'll be
I think it
getting
was,
all the alternates we
Yeah.
had and still being significantly under the budgeted amount.
Yeah.
So I'm more than pleased with this project so far.
Again, that's an outgrowth of a lot of work there from board members too, so appreciate that. But anyways, that's the resolution I walked in.
All right, any other questions, comments? I'm excited for this work to get started. All right,
Well,
call the roll, please.
Mrs. Boer,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Swager.
Yes.
Resolution 25-09-199 is first reading of revised policies.
Can I get a motion
I'll make the motion.
and a second?
Second.
Alan's not here to second.
I know. it's like-
Second.
Any questions on this? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
It was,
It was.
Was it?
It was with
Mrs.
you.
Boer.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
All right,
Yes.
Mrs. Boer
Yes.
and Mrs. Thomas.
yes.
Mr. Swager.
Yes.
Resolution 25-09-200, first reading to rescind policies.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions, comments? Call the roll.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer? And Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager.
Yes.
Resolution 25-09-201, first reading of replacement policies.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Third time's a charm.
I had to watch.
I know. I was like, let's see.
I was hoping Ann would second it because I thought it'd be funny.
No, I should, yes. Next.
Mrs.
Stand up, Ann.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
All right. Any board comments? Anything additional? Up to you.
Yeah, a couple things here real quick. Just a report card, we're still waiting, I know Mrs. Davis mentioned some of this, we're still waiting for final results. We've seen some preliminary. If I had to predict based on what I've seen, I think our report card is going to look similar to maybe even slightly lower in some areas. You're going to see, and we'll tease through this when we get the final data. It'll probably be in about a week, and then that'll be the public-facing version, and then there'll be information coming for the teacher value-added information. We've made so many changes in curriculum and recently. So I think this is, within our expectations that things will, get a little tighter here before they get better, but we'll see. As soon as I have information about that, I'll share that with the board. Been giving some updates, and I just want to give you another update. Greater Johnstown Parks and Recreation District and the structure there. Looks like, if there's we're in the comment period now, so if there's no comments after, or as of September 19th, both public bodies, being the school district and the board, can vote to modify the changes, which will be primarily in two areas. One will be to change the organizational structure, so instead of that fifth position being voted on, it'll be a Monroe Township position, and then the other will be the ability to levy over 30 years, which is, they have 10 right now too, so.
We'll also, as a board, so we need to appoint a second member here soon, so we'll have some discussion as far as that goes. Because one of the members, August 31st, their term expired. They can be re-upped. We just have to make that decision.
So I'll work on that, keep the board updated, and then bring that to the October meeting, as well as most likely the structure again, unless there's changes that come through or questions that come through during the comment period. High school ribbon cutting is this Friday, as a reminder, so we'll be at the high school. We talked about that a bit, but want to make sure that CNA part, that's where we'll be meeting, is CNA, so we're happy to have that and share that with the public. Grandparents' Day I already talked about on, well, it'll be at least for the elementary this Friday, and then we'll have the spring for the intermediate. That'll kind of work out nice too, because sometimes we have competing interests with, people trying to get to both buildings. We try to alternate schedules, so this will help a bit. PTO Fall Festival, Johnstown This Is Home is the official name. That'll be October 1st through the 4th, and I've sent you some information. That's certainly exciting, and looks to be possibly an ongoing event, I think, as I've been saying.
It's got a lot of potential. I think
I think so,
gonna be
just
nice.
from a community standpoint, and the PTO's been leading that, just tremendous. So we're going to some fundraising, and I think it's going to be a very nice event all in all. I have a feeling if it goes as well as I think it will, become something that's an annual event and really celebrates the community. And lastly, I want to thank you for the annual contract performance. I tell people all the time, this doesn't happen without a team, and that includes the Board of Education, and I appreciate all the work you're doing, but also the administrative team, because I couldn't do this without all of them. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all I
Yeah,
have.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Can get a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion.
Resolution 2509-202.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes. Meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening.
I have a question.
Yes.
This isn't official. How many beds are